Throughout the history of the galaxy, many interstellar powers have risen and fallen, however none of it could be possible without the use of faster-than-light travel. The following list is an overview of all the different types of FTL travel created by the Enderium Archives. The list is broken down into two halves: discontinuous and continuous travel. Discontinuous drives have the user teleport from one location to the other without traveling through the intervening space, though there is often some use of alternate dimensions like the interstellaris, or void space. The first group within discontinuous travel are object teleporters, or devices that teleport a separate object to or from a location. Sometimes these can require a transmission or receiver, or even both. The Solar Federation's transporters, while technically transferring the target through the aether, are the easiest example to understand. They're shown using both transmitters and receivers, as well as only one of the two, with beaming up and down at short ranges. The Lance of the Ancestors device used by the Archland Confederacy is another example, though while it did use netheric energy as a slingshot, it never passed through the nether realm point to point. Similar to object teleporters, door teleporters create a portal between two locations that allows instant travel between them. This takes the form of immaterium gates, although they do use immaterial wormholes. However, generally one would enter one side and leave the other seamlessly, but most importantly, the gate resembles an arch. Teleportation and portals for travel are both technological and magical in nature, and sometimes straddling the line between the two, such as with void rifts, which seem to be summoned at will, but they are still not fully understood. Sitting between discontinuous and continuous FTL are permanent gateways through space, typically as a wormhole. Normally here is some travel time as they pass through an alternate space or dimension. They can be naturally forming or artificial. Then there are continuous drives, ones where the user or spacecraft actually moves through space. Firstly, there's simple superluminous travel through real space. The most famous real space drive is of course the warp drive used by the Solar Federation and all its many variants, which all work by distorting space-time. The most widely used type of FTL is transdimensional travel or something similar. While some systems allow ships to just simply enter the dimension, sometimes they require gateway devices to enter or exit. For vessels that have their own drives, there tends to be two main subtypes of hyperspace: drift travel and free travel. The first of these, drift travel, is the main means of FTL travel for many nations in the galaxy, accessed through the void, a dimension of latent energy that carries currents between star systems that can be ridden between them. Ships enter this dimension by using a null point reactor to break into the void. Once inside, they project a null field to protect the ship from the environment of the void. These currents create frequently traveled lanes of interstellar travel known as hyperspace lanes. The very last group of FTL travel is total hyperspace navigation. This is fairly self-explanatory. Ships can go wherever they want and leave at any time. The only wrinkle for this type tends to be hyperspace itself having navigational hazards which can sometimes be countered with technology or magic. The foremost example of this is travel through the netheric realm, as it's a dimension that is much smaller than real space with navigational freedom. However, it contains many regions inhabited by malicious entities seeking to spread their influence and corruption. Ships used by the Archland Confederacy are the most known for this form of travel and use a spell known as the Ancestor Blanket to protect him from corruption. There also exists other realms that theoretically could allow travel, such as the aether and immaterialis. However, these dimensions are either very difficult to access or pose exponentially dangerous threats to any non-native life forms entering it.